So starting from the same place?
Tambourine is on Booth Post A. Yeah, but get rid of the region.
So we're not doing Wiro now?
No, not
So
on
we can
this
just start
part.
at 39.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to give you 2 bars into 39 instead, because we're not going to do the Guiro on
Good,
this part.
okay. 2 bars into 39.
Okay, here we go.
So Schmed, tell me about your relationship with Jamie.
Let's see.
I met him in probably the mid to early 90s. We would sell out 25-seat coffee shops. And we would just, he would always be like, let's play a gig. And then when I'd scribble on the chord changes really fast, and then we'd just play it. And that was fun. And we hung out a lot.
Were you playing in a band at this time with other people? Or?
I think so, yeah. I think I was probably... Well, you got bottom there.
Sorry.
He was in a band called Day with Dizzy, and they were on a major label, and he was my hero. He had everything that I could have ever thought that I wanted, a record deal, he didn't have to work a regular job, and then things went badly with them, and they got dropped from their label, and then he said he wanted to form a band with me, and for me, it was like, being in a band with my hero, the guy that I looked up to musically, and I just thought was the most amazing musician on the planet, wanted to be in a band with me, and so that just blew my mind.
We would love to do 4-track recordings, and eventually we became friends with Ben Vaughn, who was did the music for that 70s show and Third Rock from the Sun. He put us on those shows as the prom band.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just
Oh
like
my
me,
God! It's like he's singing just for me.
When we got on that 70s show on Third Rock from the Sun, not only did we, but everybody that was in our lives thought that we were going places. And then we didn't. Absolutely nothing happened, and Holliston Stops broke up. Schmidt and I joined this band called Arlo, who had just gotten a deal with Sub Pop. Schmidt was playing bass, I was playing drums, and we got to do things in that band that Holliston Stops never got to do. We got to tour with them and see a record come out and be in stores, and that was great, and it lasted for a while for me. And then I started getting really homesick being on the road, and just wanted to, the fact that I wasn't getting to do my own music started to wear me down, so I chose to just quit the band and hang out at home and record on my 4-track, which I did for about a year and sunk really deep into addiction. And really, it was very painful not getting to do music with Schmed, because that had really been the highlight of my life. And the fact that he was off, having success with Arlo, and then Arlo was actually starting to put out records that had old Holliston Stops songs that Schmed had written, but they were coming out on albums, and that was hard. It was really, really hard to swallow. But so I sunk really deep into my addiction, and my mom, who I was sharing a house with, eventually left me to figure my shit out, and I basically couldn't live anymore. I couldn't take care of myself the way that people in my life that loved me would have liked me to. So I ended up losing the house, and pretty much everybody in my life, went away from me because I was just a scumbag, and I ended up sleeping on Schmidt's couch for a little bit.
He stayed at my house for a little bit, right at the end. I let him stay as long as I could, even though he's probably not a good influence at that point. But sometimes it's like someone's in a bad place, and maybe you shouldn't even really be helping them out by letting them stay. But if you love somebody and trust somebody, you just do it. If you like somebody, you can't let them be homeless.
So how did that?
Hopefully, nobody would let me be homeless.
How did that come to an end then?
Oh, I let him stay. I'd asked my roommates if he could just stay for 2 weeks, and after his 2 weeks were up, I had to let him. I had to let him go.
It was pretty much like the worst time of my life. Pretty sure. Staying on his couch and him not even, wanting me around anymore because it just didn't make sense to have a guy around who might steal his shit, Yeah, this is where I ended up. I was taught that you can buy bags just by walking down the street down here.
So what goes on here?
This is just the life. This is like people just hanging out, either getting high or just living down here, That was the fucking worst part, is that I saw families down here, And there was I was sitting down here right on this fucking corner. I tried to sell my Yeah, they're not gonna fuck with us. But we should lock the doors.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like, I had to wait in this line to be able to get into the homeless shelter here. I know this guy.
Jamie,
Andrew?
get me on camera. And the winner is Mondo. What you doing, bro?
They're making a documentary about I'm going to do this album in London
Okay.
and I'm talking about where I came from, you know,
Okay.
where I spent some time.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is Andrew.
How you doing, cameraman?
How you doing, man?
It's Tony.
Good to see you.
Hey, Tony. Well, good luck to you, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
Good to see you.
So good to see you.
Yeah.
Nice to see a familiar face down here.
Yeah, you'll see a bunch of...
Down here on this street, I was in this Lakers outfit, and I was trying to figure out a way how I could get more drugs. And I went and I walked up to one of these guys here on the street, and I handed him my Lakers outfit. It's the only thing I had left. My brother had loaned me this Lakers jersey and Lakers shorts, so that's what I was wearing. And I walked up to a dude, and I handed it to him, and I was like, "Can you give me dope for this?" And he was like, he took it from me, started holding it up in the street, like, you know, as cars passing by, and a guy like offered to buy it from him. And then, you know, I'm like, "Are you gonna give me the dope?" And he's like, "Don't you ever fucking disrespect me! Don't you ever you know?" It got in my face, and I was just a frail frame of a fucking man at that point, you know. And you know, I didn't get my shit.
Yeah, but you're naked now
I'm naked on Skid Row.
because you gave him the Lakers outfit for the dope.
Exactly. I'm naked. I'm in my boxers now. It's during the summer, so it's hot out. I have my socks, and that's it. And that was my first day on Skid Row. I was afraid, man. I was scared, and I was alone. And my mom had said goodbye. My dad, I'd called him from down here in my boxers, saying, "Dad, I'm in my boxers." And he's like, "Here, talk to your mother," you know, and my stepmom, Sherry. And I talked to her on the phone, and they just wouldn't. They're told not to come get me, to just let me fucking fight through it. You know, that I would steal from them and I would keep using them, and I had to find my own way. This is where I slept, and right there on that sidewalk, that was where I was asleep. And I slept, and I woke up the next morning, there's rats running by me, and a van. They didn't have a bed for me in this place, so a van pulled up and said, you know, "How many days sober do you have?" And I lied and I said 7, you know, and they're like, "You want to go to rehab?" And I was like, "Sure." And they took me up to this fucking rehab in the mountains. It's an all men, you know, 500 dudes who are all out on Prop 36. Basically, who get to leave jail a little early if they face their drug problems and go to rehab. So that's what the place was like, and I went there and slowly put my life back together. Born in East LA. Welcome to East LA. Dozier Street. This is Zuma's house. Zuma and Schmed have been practicing here 20 years in various different bands. Here's Zuma.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hello.
Zuma on bass. This is Zuma's the house he grew up in, right?
Pretty much.
Pretty
yeah.
much. Wait
Well,
till you see this place. I mean, nothing really much has changed in the last 20 years. Hey, Sue. Everybody say hi. Hi. Yeah. This is Jennifer Hammond, our orchestrator. Just look what she brought. Look how awesome this is.
put this to the table.
So after about 6 months of being sober and into my new life, I got this call, and it was like, "Hey, I'm Nathan Duvall. You remember me? I was a big Holliston Stops fan." And I was like, I recognized his voice, but I couldn't place who this guy was. And he's like, "Hey, I used to have these loft parties." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "I wonder what you've been up to lately." You know, and he explained that he had a publishing company, and he had been placing a lot of songs and films, you know, in trailers and advertising, and asked me if I would write some stuff in the style of Holliston Stop songs for romantic comedy films. And I said, sure, and I gave it a shot, and that's what I've been doing for Nathan for the last few years. Every once in a while using Schmed on a few things. Pretty soon I started submitting him old Holliston Stop songs, thinking these things will never see the light of day, I might as well get them placed. So I submitted him some songs, and that kind of restoked a flame in him to, you know, to give us a publishing deal. He was like, hey, you know, I want you guys to make a whole record of Holliston top songs, and we'll get them placed in romantic comedy films. So Schmed and I recorded the album at our studios. My buddy Thomas engineered it, and made this whole record where he and I played all the instruments. You know, I played drums and sang and played some guitar. Schmed played bass and all the piano stuff and keyboards. And we did string arrangements together and horn arrangements, and made this amazing sounding record, we thought. And we submitted it to Nathan. He sat with it for about a month and called us and said, look, man, we got to do this thing for real. I want to fly you guys to England to A.I.R Studios, you know, owned by Sir George Martin, and you know, wanted to have us record it with a full symphony and choirs and do the whole thing right. Hi, Nathan. Nothing. Are you here?
I think we need to turn the bass down.
Okay, I'm coming to get you.
I know.
Come on.
Nathan's here.
Need to turn the actual bass up. I can't even hear him.
That sounded good, guys.
Yeah.
Is Jennifer here?
She is.
All right.
She's fitting right in. We got her chewing tobacco, spitting in this tune.
Sure, yeah, I can pass out. I have everyone's plane tickets, and I have the car information for you guys for your pickup and delivery to the flag.
They're gonna have a sign, Holliston Stops.
Yeah, they're gonna put up a sign saying Holliston stops when you arrive.
I'm leaving on a jet plane, and I'm not gonna sing a melody, but I am leaving on a jet plane. I actually know when I'll be back.
I want to pick you up on that.
Perfect, we're right on time. Right on time.
There it is.
What do you think, guys? It looks adequate for our recording. It'll do. Yes, Studio 1. Studio 1.
Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Danielle. I'm Nick.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, Danielle. Olga.
Insane. Can't believe where we are. I can't believe that you know, putting pen to paper and all that shit lands you in a room like this.
It's like overkill. It's incredible. I love it. I can't wait to play.
What do you think?
Hear what it sounds like.
I think it's got great windows, nice woodwork, solid floors. I feel good. I feel secure.
Yeah.
You got a stained glass protected so someone doesn't break it by accident.
Yeah. So we didn't hit that brown
Like if
note.
you're throwing a beer can at your beer bottle at the drummer, you might actually hit the
I think it's
stained
more of an
glass.
acoustic
Right now
stage.
in trouble.
I think it's an acoustic stage.
Go in there. It's all right. Holy shit.
It's a little different than the garage you think in East LA.
Yeah. Looks like. Photo on the site. Yeah.
Hi, Hi Jill, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Excellent.
So let me just run a bit. Hands
Yeah. Okay, hands on everybody, let's check level.
Greg.
Number 2.
Greg.
Yes.
Skyler's interpret.
Sure. Number 2, please, astronaut.
So we're just going to play click and track just to make sure everyone's
Yeah, just have a listen first of all.
I'm scared of all this, too strong to get on. Try telling the truth when it's all front page news. You can't imagine quiet as children. Someone save us from me, 'cause I don't know what I'll do next. Just like the astronauts, I've been in space a lot, lost my way over the rainbow. There goes my life in the blink of an eye. Stupid reaction, careless attraction, silent singing the blues, patterns that you can't find or lose. Swallow a teardrop, shooting at the cops. Pull me over, man, please. I'm falling out of the skies and trees. Just like the astronauts, I've been in space a lot, lost my way over the rainbow. There goes my life in the blink of an eye. Just like the astronauts, I've been in space a lot, lost my way over the rainbow. There goes my life at the blink of an
So did you ever, in a million years, think you'd be here?
No, I was just one of those guys that liked the records with the orchestras on them in the choir, like ELO Out of the Blue and ABBA and Queen and all the big albums. So everybody knew that everybody knows I like that kind of music, and I would just, try and stack everything up on the 4-track or at home on my computer, and I would do fake violins, and people would always say, you should use real strings, and it's like, oh yeah, I never thought of that when I couldn't pay my rent last month. I should have hired a string section.
Right.
But yeah, I always used fake strings and was just an appreciator of the music that has all that stuff on it. And now sitting here, it's like I just can't even believe it. It's just amazing. I can't believe it's true. It's just life can go. You can have ups and downs in life, because there's been times where I've been totally bummed out, and I felt like that maybe I'd have to go and get a job flipping burgers, and then next thing you know, you could be in here doing it.
When you were on Skid Row, if I told you you were going to come to this place behind you
This
and
story's
make a
making
record.
me happy, yeah.
Turn around and look at this place.
I'm glad you didn't tell me that back then, because I would have fucked it up.
Part of me feels like it doesn't even look real. This is just crazy to me. Seeing music right now with my name on it, you know. I also feel bad about being cynical in the past because I can be a real cynical bastard. What I always tried to do is I only had the means of playing through with a garage band, so I would always try and get it across as best I could, you know, so that even if there weren't a lot of instruments, at least I felt that with the piano chords that get it across, like I get that feeling, and then just hearing it coming back from so many people in the choir and the orchestra is just totally crazy. But I always considered myself to be like kind of like a budget, like kind of a poor man's one of those guys, like the guys that does the music that I like I was be like a thrift store version of it, you know. So, and I would just hope that I always told myself that if I practiced enough with the fake strings and if I just kept it up, that maybe one day I'd be able to use the real strings, the real orchestra. But, you know, sometimes during tough times you feel like you're lying to yourself, you know, you wonder, you know, is it ever really going to happen? And you just got to do it because you love it, you know.
It's like George Martin was driving by one day and he was like, yeah, that's what I want. And every once in a while I just have these moments where I'm sitting at the control desk in Studio One and I'm looking out and it's like, I can't even believe what the fuck I'm seeing. Look at this fucking place. Let's walk down here. Let's get the whole, let's go around. This must be the George Martin driveway.
This is the George Martin Memorial Driveway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Look at how they've installed all that plexiglass and stuff over there.
Awesome. This is not connected.
I think we're in someone's driveway. We're about to get shot by English.
Ready? Okay.
Does it treat me like your friends have said you do, or my friends?
Oh, it's my friends. My bad.
No, that's what he was singing. I think of the rough one, it was your friends, but...
Does the choir sing in that?
No.
Oh, okay.
When I'm feeling lonely next to you, it makes me wanna say the things I do. And if you change your mind, I won't be changing mine, because it's you. La la la, la la la, treat me like my friends have said you to. I've been knocked out and now I'm coming to. Kiss me, won't you please? I'm swinging from the trees. Don't make me blue. La la la, la la la. I was so afraid that your mind was made of glue. Your mind was made of glue. But if that's the case, my heart could use the pasting too. Could use the pasting too. Yeah! kiss me in your sleep. You're holding on to all the stars you keep. Well, darling, don't you fear, 'cause I won't disappear, because it's true. La la la, la la la. And if you change your mind, I won't be changing mine, because it's you. La la la, la la la. La la la, la la la. La la la.
Fucking awesome. One more of those and we're good. That was the shit. We're finally there. It's a lot faster, but it's finally...
Chord change is like my favorite thing in the world. And I feel like I've got little relationships with the different ones, like C to E minor, C to A minor. They're like friends that I've known since I was a kid. With like October Dream, I pretty much wrote it right at the beginning with 2 notes at all times. So like this one is hanging the whole time. This is Klein. And then that my favorite chord change is the minor 4. One of my favorite bands at all times was always ELO, because every now and then I'd hear that minor 4 chord change, which is like on this would be. Oops, sorry, one time. That one. When I was a kid, I got an ELO album because somebody said you should listen to ELO, and Jeff Lynne would use that minor 4 chord change on almost all of his songs on every record. And I just loved it. I just love that chord change. And that's pretty much, I almost worked that chord change into almost everything.
Well, highlights for me has been doing vocals in that room and having them come easier than they've ever come and sound better than they've ever sounded, and then to find out, 4 days into recording, that it's the same room where a computer was recorded. The fact is, we made a great sounding record on our own, and now we get to do that to the fullest scale that you can possibly do it. You can't get any bigger than what we're doing right now. What else could you do? Have a fucking UFO land, in the middle of the hall. That's like the only thing that you could do to top the recording.
Okay.
He's a threat. If he had all his hair,
How's he actually hearing?
was better looking and didn't
So we can
smell,
send him the
I'd
insert
seriously hate his
20, it'd
guts.
probably be okay.
Hey, Justin?
Down 32.
The more you can, I know this is tough, but in the opening, you were just struggling a little bit with the swing and being confident when you mainly with the kick drum. Like the more you can just really make this one dance, the more everyone's gonna really feel this. Okay. Right on, man.
I actually just went in there and told him to, because in the practices it had been kind of like dragging a little bit, like it was the swing was a little too prevalent, so I was like telling him to play a little more.
Really? This one's all about swing. Like we're in
Well, I guess meet somewhere in between, huh, Justin? Work it out.
this dream where we meet the same time every year on this Halloween Eve. But you're already there, and it's good to be true, and this ought to be nice, 'cause I've fallen for you once or twice. And when the evening is over, it doesn't matter to me. I can still have my October dream, strolling around under the moonlight with you. You are beginning to shake, your breath seen in the cold on the old frozen lake, and you asked me to hold on forever, but I seem to slip in and out, but the memory stays for a while. And when the evening is over, it doesn't matter to me. I can still have my October dream, strolling around under the moonlight with you. Winter, springtime, summer turns to fall. I can't wait that winter, springtime, I can't wait that long. And when the evening is over, it doesn't matter to me. I can still have my October dream, strolling around under the moonlight with you, strolling around under the moonlight with you.
You'll punch those rises.
Fantastic. Loved it.
I think that means good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Okay.
When we first met, all we wanted to do was party and have fun and play music and hang out with girls. And then later, during the bad period, where partying kind of became where we both wanted to do as little as possible. And I've seen this happen to a lot of people where at first you're out tearing around and drinking and playing shows, coffee shops, and getting stuff done. And then I see a lot of people ending up at a place where you don't want to do anything. And you just stay home and you do as little as possible, you get your rent as small as possible, you figure out ways to make a little bit of money, and you just kind of end up doing nothing and just watching TV. And
How's this look?
no, you're not getting that stuff on the bottom. Sorry. And I think we were both really good at figuring out ways to not do anything. And then later it was time to do something.
Who gets to do this? You know, there's a band, you know, from 10 years ago who breaks up, you know, and goes on all this huge journey through life, and then gets to make a record, you know, of a lot of those songs, you know, together by not gigging, you know, at all, and just continually making music. But I mean, the music has lasted, and that's what's great. It's lasted with Nathan. It's always been in his heart, and you know, it's always been stuff that he and I would have liked to see out there. So now we get that chance.
That's better, right?
Wakes up to say goodnight. Mist or fog, it's only right. Plastic rings on Valentine's, all in hopes of being mine. He works harder every day, always witty things to say. Compliments him on his smarts, says she knew it from the start. Took a little bit from her, she took a little bit from him. That's what they'll make